and welcome back to RMU Live. Today is Monday, January 23rd, 2023. I'm Julia Wozleski.
And I'm Nathan Kingston. Here's what's happening now.
The weather outside got frightful yesterday. With the snow coming in yesterday, we are finally hitting that winter weather. What do you think about that, Nate Kingston?
Honestly, this is the snowstorm that I think we've been afraid of, and what is actually coming that we should have got last year, but now we got in January. Okay. And I don't think this is the last we're going to see it.
Oh, definitely. I think this is just the beginning of the winter weather for us because, like you said, we didn't get a ton in November and December like we normally do. I think now that we're going into that early January, I think we'll probably see it hang on for a little bit longer, even through March.
Oh, I'd say into February, hopefully not into March.
Hopefully not, but usually, I don't know, usually when we don't have that great of a track record with like ending it early. I don't know. You know how we get flurries in April sometimes.
Oh, exactly, and especially in western Pennsylvania. We see all 4 seasons in a matter of a day, sometimes a week.
Yeah,
so
I wonder if that's what this week is going to look like.
Oh, yeah, we'll have to see what it looks like. This
week, a gunman who authorities say killed 10 people and sent 10 others to the hospital in Florida took his own life after an hours-long standoff with police Sunday.
And authorities were able to track the man after spotting a van matching the description of the scene, leaving the scene of a second foul attack. Now, a community is left asking why. Mike Valero has the latest from Monterey Park.
Well, the LA County Coroner's Office has identified at least 2 of the victims, saying they were both women in their 60s. We still have 8 more people who are left to be identified, and we still do not know what drove the suspect to open fire.
Investigators are searching for a motive for the mass shooting in Monterey Park, California, Saturday night after the suspect was found dead.
He is a 72-year-old male Asian. I can confirm that there are no outstanding suspects.
The sheriff says the suspect shot himself in his van during a standoff hours after he allegedly killed 10 people and wounded 10 others in Southern California. The attack devastating the majority Asian American community on the eve of its Lunar New Year celebration.
It's just a very joyous time of year for families to get together and to have a tragedy such as this happen on the eve of the Lunar New Year is just it's just incredibly sad and tragic.
3 people who knew him told CNN he used to be a regular at the Star Ballroom Dance Studio and even met his ex-wife there. Shortly after the attack in Monterey Park, authorities say the same suspect went to a second studio in nearby Alhambra, but people there were able to disarm him before he fled.
Finally, at one point, I was able to pull the gun away from him, shove him aside, create some distance, point the gun at him, intimidate him, shot him and say, "Get the hell out of here. I'll shoot. Get away. Go."
Now, the suspect here wasn't just a regular at the ballroom. He, as far back as 20 years ago, taught dance classes for free, and that, we're told, is how he met his ex-wife way back in the early 2000s. We are expecting to learn the identities of the other 8 victims by this afternoon. That's latest reporting here in Monterey Park, California. I'm Mike Valerio. Back to you.
As you heard, 10 people were killed in the California mass shooting. It was during the Lunar New Year celebrations, and the suspect is dead. The hunt for the gunman who killed 10 people at the Los Angeles area ballroom dance club ended Sunday when authorities found him dead of a self-inflicted gunshot wound in the van he used to flee. He was found during that shooting. Los Angeles County Sheriff Robert Luna identified the man as 72-year-old Hukan Tran and said no other suspects were at large. The motive remained unclear for the attack, which wounded 10.
The White House is getting a new chief of staff. Ron Klain, the current chief of staff, is expected to step down in the next few weeks, and Jeff Zients will be taking his place. Zients will be initially help President Biden's COVID-19 response plan and work closely with the Obama administration throughout the term. The choice for Zients to move forward as the White House chief of staff comes from the Republicans who hold the House majority during the investigation of how Biden has handled classified documents. Klain advocated for Zients as his newest chief of staff.
3 Pittsburghers arrested in a Georgia domestic terrorism case. 7 people, including 3 from Pittsburgh, are facing domestic terrorism charges following a shootout this week in Georgia. Police say the suspects were living in campsites to protest the construction of public safety training center. Investigators say the man shot a state trooper as they attempted to clear the site. Officers returned fire, killing that man. Spencer Liberto, Matthew Mascar, and Sarah Woliski of Pittsburgh were arrested at the scene along with 4 others.
Pittsburgh police were called to investigate 2 shootings on Saturday night in the South Side. Police believes that the shootings may be connected. Around 9 p.m., police were dispatched to the Color Park on South 4th Street and were sent moments later to the Cohen Market and 25 East Carson Street, a few blocks away. According to police, a juvenile male was shot in the stomach at Color Park. He was also wounded in the face and taken to the hospital in critical condition. At the second location, a male victim had been shot in the chest and was also taken to the hospital in critical condition. Police also found 2 loaded guns and said that the investigation is continuing.
Police are searching for suspect in Monroeville hotel shooting. A man accused of shooting a 16-year-old at a Monroeville hotel is on the run, setting off a SWAT situation in Pittsburgh on Sunday. Durante Anthony Brown, 18, of Monroeville, is being charged with aggravated assault, reckless endangerment, illegal possession of a firearm, and criminal attempt. Police say he shot a teenage girl after she refused to do a sexual act with him Saturday night. After shooting the victim, Brown and another fled the scene. Police are still on the lookout for Brown.
Enrique Collington, the suspect charged in the shooting of Eugene Nance, is facing new charges related to a SWAT operation in December. He is currently in the Allegheny County Jail on charges that include criminal homicide after being accused of shooting and killing Nance in downtown Pittsburgh on Thursday. A criminal complaint was released Saturday and detailed Collington's alleged connection to a SWAT operation that occurred on December 19, 2022. SWAT officers used a search warrant at a home on Brighton Road and demanded that the occupants come outside. Allegedly, Collington was one of 16 people outside. SWAT officers allegedly found a short loaded barrel rifle that matched the one posted on Collington's Facebook account. According to the complaint, he is, quote, a person not to possess a firearm as he was just adjudicated delinquent. Possession of a firearm by a minor, end quote, in 2021.
EPA warns of a greater cancer risk in Butler County community. The Environmental Protection Agency will hold a virtual meeting next month to discuss a greater risk of cancer to residents in Zillinople, PA. According to the EPA, American Contract Systems, a medical sterilization company is emitting levels of ethane oxide that could put nearby residents at risk. According to the EPA's research on the facility, if 1 million people were exposed to the level of ethane oxide they are putting in the air 24 hours a day for 70 years, 100 people would be expected to develop cancer from that exposure.
The RMU Chief of Police sent out an announcement last week about solicitors on campus. Chief Jeff James and Dean of Students Maureen Kiefer sent out an email to all faculty, students, and staff about recent solicitors who have been spotted on campus. RMU requires all organizations to have permission before selling goods and services on campus and are not allowed in residence halls. All faculty, students are strongly encouraged not to approach them and to report suspicious activity.
Coming up, we see what RMU Hockey did to raise awareness for RMU Hockey.
And Lasse Lau will be returning for the 2023 Pittsburgh Film Festival right here on RMU Live.
Hey, Dad. I need your help asking Jessica to prom.
Of course. Love is like the ocean. You have to tread the
Oh,
waters.
Dad, that's not the kind of help I needed. Hey, Jessica. Will you go to prom with me?
Yes.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care can't wait to share their first with you.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. This guy, no, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie, nailed it. We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
Hey Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry, I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Welcome back to RMU Live. This last Sunday, RMU hosted a 2023 Celebrity Hockey Face-Off. It was an exciting afternoon as the 2023 RMU Celebrity Hockey Classic took place at the UPMC Lemieux Sports Complex. The second installment had a star-studded previous one of the two teams featuring were the White and the Navy teams that were full of RMU alum and some local celebrities. The game was full of offense, but just as the previous year's was. The score at the end of the first 25 minutes half was 5-3 in favor of Team White, who scored 2 quick goals at the start of the game.
The Resident Hall Association will be holding their annual Build Your Own Stuffed Animal event on Thursday. Stuffed animals are only available while supplies last, so visit the Office of Residence Life at 5 p.m. to make yourself a new friend.
The Pittsburgh Film Festival is happening now till the 26th and features director Lasse Lau, and he will be screening his film The Raven and the Seagull as part of the Pittsburgh EU Film Festival. The Raven and the Seagull engages the complex identity struggles in Greenland's quest for cultural and constitutional independence. And you can also get a promo code to see it for tickets at EU Pit. You can use that promo code. And you can see award-winning visual artist and filmmaker Mr. Lasse Lau, and he served as RMU's University's 11th visiting documentary filmmaker this past fall.
This week is a busy week for RMU's campus. First up is the Spring Activities Fair that will be hosted in the John Jay Gym tomorrow from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. The Activities Fair is a great way to get students involved on campus, so stop up to learn about the organizations here at RMU. There will also be a Hangout with the President event from 5 to 6 p.m. on Tuesday that students can visit and get to know President Patrick. Friday, the class of 2023 can celebrate 100 days till their graduation at the men's basketball game. The UPMC Event Center will be providing snacks and a ticket for a free drink from 6 to 7 p.m.
Want the inside scoop on all things news and arts and entertainment? Visit RMUCenturyMedia.com. The writers over there have you covered on all the newest information for both news, arts, and entertainment. So stay up to date with all the latest information, all at RMUCenturyMedia.com.
And if you want to see more shows like this, check out RMU-TV on YouTube and Facebook to see sports shows, media shows, and more. Check out RMU-TV today for some entertaining shows. The weather outside has been chilly. Let's see if the winter weather will continue through tomorrow.
Let's send it over to Colby Sherwin for the latest weather updates.
Thanks, guys. Now, you may not have noticed, but it did in fact snow. But we're going to start out with the hourly forecast. It's much like the Bills season. It starts out hot at 30. Oh, never mind. We're going to do today's forecast. The high today is 35. The low will be 27. 80% humidity and 40% chance of precipitation. Now, we did tease you with the hourly, so let's take a look at that. The hourly, as I said, it's much like the Bills season. Starts out hot at 35 degrees, moves on a little bit cooler at 32 degrees, and absolutely freezing like yesterday when they lost to the Bengals at 32 degrees. Now we'll take a look at tomorrow's forecast. And it's going to be a scorcher in January. 38 degrees is the high, 27 is the low. The humidity is 72% and a chance of precipitation at 10%. That's all for me. Let's send it back to the desk.
Thanks, Colby. After the break, we'll find out how birth defects are becoming the leading cause of infant death.
And coming up after the break, we talk about COVID numbers, big and large, and more news to come, only on RMU Live.
Roll over. Chance high five. All right.
When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover all the things that make them unique. And your mother and...
I am totally a hat person. Right, guys?
Thanks for being honest. They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love. Adopt pure love at theshelterpetproject.org.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What?
I can't drive.
Why?
My.
Oh.
STEM is precise, no margin for error.
Dare to forget that. Dare to have fun with it. Get weird with it. Dare to send those old STEM theories flying past the neighbor's house into outer space. Dare to program something internet-breaking, record-breaking. Dare to blow their minds. Dare to learn the difference between sedimentary and metamorphic rock. Go find those rocks. Dare to keep daring. Dare to STEM. Check out She Can STEM to get started.
Welcome back to RMU Live. About 1 in 33 babies is born with a birth defect in the U.S. every year, according to the CDC.
While many will go on to lead happy, healthy lives, birth defects are a leading cause of infant death in this country. In today's Health Minute, XXX has steps those who are pregnant that can be reduce the risk in honor of National Birth Defects Awareness Month.
13 years ago, when Amy DeSantis gave birth to twins, she had no idea one of them had Down syndrome and a heart defect.
It's overwhelming. There's a lot of fear, a fear of the unknown, a fear of what the future will look like. Will this child have a future?
Some birth defects are preventable, others are not, but experts say early intervention is critically important. The infant and maternal health nonprofit March of Dimes says most birth defects happen within the first trimester, but can happen later in pregnancy too.
A lot of women have no idea what their risk is or anything about birth defects.
The organization says taking 400 micrograms of folic acid before and during early pregnancy can help lower the risk, as can seeing a healthcare provider at the beginning of pregnancy, where medications and medical history can be reviewed, and avoid drugs, smoking, and alcohol while pregnant.
The number one cause of preventable birth defects is alcohol. And researchers did a study that showed almost 1 in 7 pregnant people is drinking alcohol today.
DeSantis's twins just turned 13, and despite his challenges, her son is thriving.
He does everything that his sister does and then some. So he's living a wonderful life, and he's a happy guy.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Thank you. The number of people getting respiratory virus is trending down for the first time since September. The flu, COVID-19, and RSV cases have been overwhelming in hospitals. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says that the number of ER visits for those three viruses combined has dropped to the lowest level in 3 months, and the improvement is in all age groups. Flu hospitalizations dropped to 1/4 of what it was at the peak a month and a half ago. But the flu season is notoriously unpredictable and far from over. Only 4 states, California, New Mexico, North Dakota, and Texas, had high flu levels for the second week in January. They are joined by 2 of America's largest cities, New York and Washington, D.C.
Good news for sick kids. The shortage of pain and fever relieving medication. They remove things for online purchases of Tylenol and Motrin products formulated for kids Wednesday. It comes after Walgreens did the same Monday. Those restrictions were put into place when the medications became more difficult to find amid the strike of RSV and flu infections. Those cases have since peaked, Neither retailer ever had purchase limits for in-store customers.
Let's take a look at U.S. COVID numbers. Currently, there are 101,873,730 cases of COVID-19 in the United States. The weekly total of positive COVID-19 cases is 332,212. There have been 1,099,866 deaths and 31,370 current hospital admissions due to COVID-19 in the United States.
As of today in the state of Pennsylvania, the COVID numbers are as follows. The confirmed cases are just under 3 million and the probable cases are just over 600,000. Also, the current deaths are just under 50,000.
Currently, there is 1 student and 2 employees in isolation due to COVID-19 at RMU. Those in isolation have tested positive for COVID-19 and are isolating either on or off campus housing. Employees are isolating in their homes. This makes the total number of positive cases reported to RMU since August 1st, 2022, total 245.
Now, coming up, we see what's happening in the world of sports from Melina Kniff right after this.
And we'll take a look at this year's Lunar New Year celebration. All this and more on RMU Live.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made her college years happen. Opening that education savings account when she was little. Spearheading a campus tour. And another, and another, and another, and another. Bam! Deciphering financial aid. She was like, what? But now she's like, you aced planning for college. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Jason, let's go see your room.
How was it? Is it good?
Things could be stranger, but I don't know how. I'm going through changes now. Could spend a lifetime trying to figure it out. I'm going through changes, through all of the strangeness. I'm going through changes now.
Welcome back to RMU Live. As I said before, we're going to send it right over to Melina Kniff to see what's happening in the world of sports. Melina, what's happening now?
Thanks, Nick Kingston. The NFL playoffs are in full force to see who will be in the 57th Super Bowl. Saturday, the Jaguars faced off against the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes got hurt in the second quarter but returned in the third. Keeping in close games, the Chiefs defeated the Jaguars 27-20. Also on Saturday night, the Eagles faced off against the Giants. The first half of the match, the Giants were scoreless until the third when they scored their first and only touchdown. The Eagles came out on top 38-7. Last Friday, the Pittsburgh Penguins versus the Ottawa Senators at PPG with a return of goaltender Tristan Jarry made the team look brand new. They won 4-1. In Colonial news, the men's basketball team on Thursday traveled to Wisconsin to face off against the Milwaukee Panthers. The Colonials were trailing all game until the last 4 minutes, taking the lead 66-64. Milwaukee's leading scorer, BJ Freeman, tied the game with 3 minutes to go. RMU fell to Milwaukee 77-69. After a 4-game road trip, the men's team traveled to Wisconsin where they took on Green Bay. The first half of the game, RMU led 19-17. RMU played with a strong defense over Green Bay, which eventually led to a win 72-38. The women's basketball team also traveled to Wisconsin to take on the Milwaukee Panthers. The first half, Milwaukee led the game 40-28, but in the second half, RMU fought their way back to close the gap, but couldn't keep up with the Panthers. RMU continued to fight hard, but fell 72-60. The track team traveled to Lewisburg, PA to compete in the Golden Invitational. Tara Gologram placed second in the women's long jump. Some of upcoming games you can see at the UPMC Event Center is women's basketball team takes on Northern Kentucky on Thursday at 7 p.m. The men's basketball team starts their 4-game homestand, and they take on Detroit Mercy on Friday at 7 p.m. And men's lacrosse has their first scrimmage of the 2023 season on Saturday. That's all for sports this week. Send it back to the desk.
Want to stay up to date with your Colonials? Visit colonialsports.com for scores, schedules, recaps, and other RMU sports-related TV news.
Will the winter flurries continue throughout the week?
Let's send it over to Colby Sherwin to find out. Take it away, Colby.
Thanks, guys. We're going to take a look at the 5-day forecast here. Monday, today, it's going to be 35 degrees with the low of 27, as I said. Moving on to Tuesday, it'll be 38 degrees with the low of 27. And Wednesday, if you're one of those people who likes to wear shorts in the middle of January, this would be the day to do it. 40 degrees, the high, and the low is 30 degrees. On Thursday, the high will be 33 degrees and low will be 24. And on Friday, the high will be 32 and the low will be 28. That's all for me. Let's send it back to the desk.
Now, how about this weather, though? The weather is absolutely crazy, especially thanks to Colby, absolutely destroying our week with these weathers.
Oh, yes. I think it's kind of fun, though, because you can do, like, all the fun winter activities that we couldn't do before when it was, like, 50 degrees in January for no reason.
Yeah, exactly. Now, moving on to the Lunar New Year is steeped in traditions dating back hundreds of years.
Visitors to the Hong Kong Palace Museum can get a glimpse of how China's most important holiday was once celebrated in Beijing's Forbidden City. CNN's Christy Liu Stout takes us on a tour of the museum.
Enter the world of 18th century court life for a Lunar New Year celebration fit for an emperor. Here at the Hong Kong Palace Museum, visitors can experience how one of China's longest ruling emperors, the art-loving Qianlong, celebrated the holiday.
I would describe the Lunar New Year celebration as a symphony of the senses. It's less about, what you see, fabulous things, but also you have to imagine what the emperor and his families would hear, what they would taste, what kind of things they would touch, and what are the aromas they would smell. We really have to use all our senses to imagine what happened 300 years ago inside the Forbidden City.
Each object on display has been meticulously crafted, many commissioned by the emperor himself, and if you look closely, they are filled with auspicious meanings.
Everything has a hidden meaning. For example, if you look at a beautiful vase, it means a peace, because Ping and Ping An, right? The character for vase has the same pronunciation with the character for peace. There are tons of fertility symbols as well, but also gourd. The gourd contains many, many seeds. And also the gourd is known in China as hulu, and it has a similar pronunciation with the words for wealth and auspicious.
One of the gallery's standout pieces is a regal dragon robe in vermilion silk and real gold thread, festival attire for the emperor and only the emperor. But there are many holiday traditions from the imperial palace that are still practiced today, like the decorative use of colorful and symbolic flowers, as well as hanging wall decorations carrying auspicious messages.
I hope that a lot of visitors will come and really connect these ancient objects with their personal life today.
Chinese New Year is China's most important holiday, and also one of the busiest times for travel. For Hong Kong, which until recently endured some of the world's toughest COVID restrictions, the holiday is a much-needed boost for the tourism sector. Visitors can venture inside the new $450 million building, a treasure trove of relics, more than 900 on loan from Beijing's Forbidden City, all inviting discovery in the Year of the Rabbit. Christy Liu Stout, CNN, Hong Kong.
Thanks for tuning in, and on behalf of RMU